You are not pushing the play. You are not forcing this particular type of literature. You are not putting into this typical type of literature called the play form, the modern play form. You are not allowed to push it. It is a skeleton, and you have to discover where the bones go. It has no bones, it has no flesh. You have to take it upon yourself to say, this skeleton needs me. It needs the histrionic side of literature. And so forever you must say, the play is theater, a theater piece. And a theater piece is not literature. It is a play. Therefore, if you play the literature and leave out the actor, you are doing something that doesn't belong to the theater. The theater has a balance. In the middle is the theater. On one side is the actor, that's the histrionic side. On the other side is the words, that's the literary side. Nobody goes in and says, oh, I'm dying to read that play. Sweetheart, go down and run down and get me dinner at 8. You don't talk like that about a play. It's a phony thing when you go into a house and they have a lot of plays. They don't read plays. It's one of the most ghastly things to do. How are you? Fine. When did you arrive? Ask him. Ask him. It's not a play. It is a form that needs the actor. Now, if you leave out the contribution of the actor, then there is no play. Because it's nothing. It's words not making sense. If you push it, you'll make some crazy sense out of it. But therefore, you are not contributing anything to the words. Therefore, you have to understand that it is the histrionic side. Remember that. Historically, histrionic means the acting side of a play. And you must use the play. You must use it like an ingredient for yourself. It's an ingredient that you use for the histrionic side of you. And then somebody says, it's theater. Am I clear? Yes. But these two forms have to get together. Now, this underlining the past of the play and getting your impressions the way I did is your first job when you get a text that's a play. Get the impressions, then go over them. Now, I'm going to take the time a little bit to go over them, shall I? Yes. Excuse me, Mrs. Helmer. I don't know that name. It's not used very often in America, or London, or Paris. And it gives me no memory. So, I have very little knowledge of people who are called Krogstad, and no memory at all. I can't search for it. I've never met that before. I wonder where this is taking place. Who understands me? Wonder where this is taking place. What do you want? I beg your pardon. It is polite. Somebody's very polite. Someone must have forgotten to close the door. That gives it already a closed-in quality. It's inside. It isn't in a garden. It isn't a palace. It seems to get a little closer. We say, close the door. It gets closer already, that it isn't too far away. I begin to see apartments with doors. I begin to see a front door. I begin to see stoops and a front door and doors and apartments. but I don't feel elevator. Somebody must have forgotten to close the door, is already steps. It's not, I'm riding up in an elevator. So I have to work to see something about walking up steps, or I already am not in Elevatorville. I'm not with us. Who understands? Yes. This is very good, isn't it, to know that somebody, to get somewhere, has to walk up some steps. People do not live on the ground floor. Then it begins to say, yes, people live. The best apartment in Italian is called the Piano Nobile. That's on the second floor. And the servants, I have to get to myself, you know? I have to use what I have. Now, the second floor is the best floor. The third floor is next to that. I'm beginning to contribute that the ground floor is used for the concierge, yes, always. People do not live in the ground floor. So this home must be either second or third floor, no elevator. And now I begin to think of Dickens and houses. And I begin to see houses that are made for family houses with 3, 4 stories, and yes, there's always a street, and then you go up, and then somebody has a window, and you say, what floor is so-and-so on? Yes, 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 yes. It's another time, and you have to bring in yourself. Who understands? I don't know. The one thing you mustn't do is say, it's a door, it's like my door. Now, the moment I say it's not like my door, I begin to see that the bolt is made differently, very differently. That everything you see in a country like England or France is made with the hand in it. It has its special, that it's made for time, that it has more weight. And a European door has more weight than our doors. It's bolted in its own weight. Yes, my travels make me understand, oh God, yes. When I was first taken to this all happens. When I was first taken to Europe, and I was on the boat, and I arrived in London, oh, I said, no, it's not like that. I mean, that's like New York. They have steps. And people live in houses. I didn't know what Europe, I thought they might live in things. But I remember the shock I had that in some way, people lived in houses like they do in America. So the next thing is that my first impression was that it wasn't like our houses. Our houses were, there were apartment houses, but these are all houses like this. And I begin to see that they're family houses and that they have a structure of middle-class life. I think this is like that. I don't know, but I think so. But I get there from me and the strange names and Krogstad. I get to London. I get to see that a house has stoops, and and the bolt on the door was very shocking to me. And the bolt on every French door is shocking because it's so beautiful. It's so big. And the doors mean something. I've got something, Stella Adler. I've got something. This is a strong middle class. This is a strong middle class. Their doors are strong. They must be. Look how I've arrived at the essence of this play. The depth of the middle class of this play. Yes or no?